fuck. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I know how you feel, mate. I know how you feel. Luckily, I've got substances to pass the time.
This is true. This is true. I've just got the
Oh,
mirror, which is not a great thing. Just look in there and just deep sadness.
jeez. You ever jacked off into the mirror?
God, no.
That's an experience.
Into the mirror or to the mirror?
G'day. This is the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast, your go-to for all things Wrexham AFC. Join us as we chat about the highs and lows of our favourite footy club. She'll be right, mate. G'day, beard brethren, Sheilas, fuckheads, and just all-round legends. I'm your host, Rousey. That is Adrian. We are back, baby, for another week of the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast. The podcast brought to you by your two favourite Australians. I don't know if you can call us your two favourite Australians, but we will humbly take that moniker off anyone any day of the week. But anyway, Adrian, my host, my ginger ninja buddy, my bold bastard mate, how are you going? We have got a big week this week.
It is a big week, mate. And I don't know if we're the two favourite. I definitely think we're probably the ones that the beardiest out of the Wrexham Australian contingent, but I don't know if we'd be the favourites. But at the same time, mate, I'm excited for this week. It was a weird weekend and a weird week in general with results. So I'm looking forward to diving straight into it, to be honest, and getting into the nitty gritty.
Okay, well, I mean, we obviously had the Charlton game happen, and we have a lot to say on that one. And a few other things that happened during the week too, which we will discuss, which is great. We got two new signings to the club, and the world is falling apart. So, if you're coming down to this dark corner of the internet or YouTube or wherever you're listening,
we're definitely on the dark web. We're definitely on the dark web.
Very much the dark corner of the internet. So, congratulations. Pull up a stool, get comfortable, flop it out, just relax.
There it is. Yeah. See, I was like, he's being too PC about it all. I was like, oh shit.
No, you just gotta get your nuts out, get your bats out, just relax and enjoy the show. We've got a big one, a good one, and hope that you hang around to the end of the show. But we've got some housekeeping to get out of the way before we get into anything, because we love our fuckheads, and we have a program on Patreon, patreon.com/2beards. That's us. Costs you $5 a month, gets you access to a fans only Discord, gets you shout outs on the podcast every single week, gets you giveaways in the Discord when we do them, and gets you discounted merch as well. And added bonus, early access to the podcast every single week.
He's on it.
Is fantastic.
He's on it. He's done well here, boys and girls. Look, yes, we do. We try to give back. We also have different tiers. Again, all of the money that gets raised, literally all of it goes to our trip to Wrexham. So we're very excited.
Or Adrian's hair regrowth fund.
Yeah, either one. I'm going to Turkey at some point, I reckon. But at the end of the day, we also have the Fuckheads Plus and also the Fuckheads Ultra, which are the $10 and the $20 tiers. And those are also our executive producers. So we would be remiss of not mentioning them. I've got a special shout out to our Anthony and Sarah, who have their merchandise on the way, as they get every 6 months, rolling merch. At that time, the merchandise goes to our lovely people. So that is on its way. We also have Welsh techie Bryant and David. Your time will come soon, I'm sure. The year's going really quick. I don't know about you, Rousey, but it's going pretty fast. So massive thank you to our executive producers. We appreciate you, and to the rest of our fuckheads who you all just give so much to this. We have a great little Discord channel. Tannel fucking server that has a bunch of different things like Rousey's Dungeon where he just gets real weird. We have the FC 25 stuff in there. We've got the Football Manager area. There's all these little bits and bobs, fantasy football, which me and Rousey have accidentally not updated our teams in multiple weeks. But Aaron, Andy, Will, Chris, W, John, Anthony R, Deandra, Mark, Drew, Neb, Ryan, Jake, Vincent, Benjamin, Ryan from Me, the Wife and Wrexham, our honorary fuckhead, Rousey, and me. That's
what
it.
a good-looking bunch of people.
What? I mean, I would have, yeah.
Bunch of people. I tell you what, we should all get together and have an orgy.
Jesus. Well, I definitely think we should make our visit in November 2025 to Wrexham and make it like a what do you call it? A fuckheads meetup. So when we get those dates signed, sealed, delivered, we will definitely be letting you guys know so that if you did want to, come around the same time, obviously it's about the club, guys. It's about going to see Wrexham, going to see the club, the great holy race course. But if you want to come and join and say hello too, that'd be nice too.
No, why not? Now, I want to address something. I want to talk about something, Adrian. Because I had a comment on the podcast last week that I figured we would address. Now, we do not get political on this channel.
We don't.
If you are trying to incite us or put us into a box of left or right, kindly go fuck yourself, right? Because we do not get political. Something you need to understand about Australians. And this is coming off the back of our numpty of the week.
Ooh. He's getting fired up. I can see the vein in his head popping.
Mark Hughes, 7180, long-time subscriber, liker, sharer, no longer. You couldn't stop yourself, could you, Trump boy? I'm out. Now, this is due to this clip from last week's episode. Roll it.
Camera, just like right up in your face, talking Australian. Nah, I'm with you, mate.
You two obviously seem a bit different, though. Even put that in italics. Well, this dude.
I'm putting that on my resume. We are very different.
One question for you both: why did you choose Wrexham to follow from the other side of the world, or was it just the documentary? So I think we've actually addressed this before, but let me just start this by saying, so look, I grew up as a middle class kid. And I, coming up through middle class, raised by my parents in the middle class, sometimes I would struggle to find, enough money for food and all that sort of stuff. So I had to supplement that by watching Wrexham, and it was the only entertainment I had because we didn't have enough money, sometimes to even just cut the grass. So, being a middle class kid in Australia is rather tough. Adrian's like, what the fuck is he talking about? If you know, you know. Look, it was. Are you all right there, Adrian?
What are you talking about?
Oh dear. Okay. All right. Well, that's a
Wrexham.
bit of... Now, coming back to this. So you've just watched that clip of your boy Rousey making a bit of fun of Kamala Harris because she said some daft shit. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying now, Aussies generally do not give a shit about politics. There is a contingent of Australians that are either left or right, which is fair enough, or they're long-time supporters of a particular party. But most Aussies tend to be generally of the centre, and they generally don't give a shit. We can let a fucking fired up ranger stage a coup and take over from K-Rod, complete fucking bastardry shit. And what do? We pull the piss out of her for it. That's what we do. We don't fuck around. We're not going to get worked up just because you like Kamala Harris or you like Trump or whatever. We love you all. We want you all to watch this episode. We want you to enjoy our content, but we will not, and I repeat, we will not be put into a fucking box of left or right, Trump or Kamala, because we're fucking Aussies. And generally, we do not give a shit. If you say some daft shit, we're going to pull the piss out of you. There we go. That's
There
what
he
I have
is.
to say.
Look, he said what he wanted. He said his piece. But I think at the end of the day, mate, is we also understand because it's not our country. We're not from America. We see it from the SNL skits. We see it from the TikToks. We see it from the X posts. We see it from a completely different view of just fuckery and lightheartedness. We understand for an American, it is 100% real and something serious for you guys. And what you're going through, whether either side, I know it's huge. For us, it's not, and we're not trying to diminish that. But I also want to know is, I'm pretty sure this Mark fella isn't actually from America. So why does he give a fuck? Yet our Americans who are on both the sides of the spectrum in our chat can actually get along and not have a cry over a joke. Because in the same episode, we made fun of Donald Trump. He made fun of the great big wall.
We made fun of Donald Trump and his great wall, his fantastic goal, and he fucking hell, man. I tell you what, this shit fucking gets me because I refuse to be put into a box. I am not left. I'm not right. I just pull the piss out of people because it's fun and I love it. Fun. Damn it.
We're a Wrexham podcast. When did it ever become a problem?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you can't put Rousey in a box.
Yeah, don't put Rousey in the corner. Anyways, I would love to talk about the football because that's what people are here for. That's what I'm here for. That's what this podcast is about. Not about anyone else. It's about the fucking people who wear the red and the people who we love most dearly. I want to talk about that Charlton game, mate.
But yes, we will. We definitely will. And I think, our followers, the people that really, truly understand us and get us, will continue to follow us, which is great. And we love you all the same. And regardless of your political point of view, your sexuality, race, gender, whatever, we still love you. We want you to listen to our stuff. Just take our jokes with a grain of salt and understand we are Aussies. We're not American. We're not from Wrexham. We have our own opinions, our own views, but we just like to joke around. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll go and we will come back after the break and speak about
the football club, please, for fuck's sake.
The football club, the shit that needs to be spoken about. That's right. Holy shit, let's do it. Whoa! Alrighty, now I've got that load off. I've rubbed that one out. We can talk about Charlton. Right, Charlton. What a game. Where do we begin with this one? We have so much to talk about. I want to talk about the penalty. Let's talk about the penalty.
No. Leave that to last. Let's talk about the game because we're gonna go on a tangent for fucking ages on that one. Let's just fixate on the half and half scarves that they were selling at their fucking shop. Let's just talk about this. So there were actually a fair few Charlton fans who were quite lovely at the end of the game. I've heard, some nice little stories. Let's be real. They came for the Wrexham. Their games are getting 5,000-6,000. I think they got 14 against Birmingham. And what did they get against us? I think 24K.
Yeah.
And with a small allocation for our lovely traveling band. But the reason I bring this up is they were here for the Wrexham and they didn't shy away from it. The posters were welcome to London, and they used the welcome to Wrexham poster and they made their own one with it. Then their store had merch for Wrexham and Charlton in a half and half scarf for a fucking regular season game. I'm against half and half scarves in general, by the way. I fucking hate them. Fucking pissed off. But I get when some people, especially tourists, who go to maybe a Champions League match and they want to remember both teams. I kind of get that, but I still hate it. This is for a regular season League One match against the Wrexham that they don't care too much about. The Wrexham that they aren't bothered by. The Wrexham that think that they're too high on their own supply. made a sweet buck this weekend for a home game. And yes, they're going to say, oh, but it's for the club. We did it for the club. We did it for the club. No, you did it for the Wrexham. You did it for the fucking Wrexham.
They put up posters all over London of welcome to London, ripping off the welcome to Wrexham posters and all that sort of stuff with their gaffer and their players on it. And they really, really hyped it up. And you know what? Good on them. That's what you should do. Because you should be able to capitalize from Wrexham coming to town.
Make some fucking money. But as a fan, don't try and criticize what.
And the half and half scarf has already been done. I mean, do something original, like, a half and half sex paddle or something, Have a W on one side.
I don't want to ask what even that is.
Well, it's a paddle.
No, I know. With. No, I kind of got the gist of it.
Yeah.
That's a paddling is definitely something that I thought.
Yeah, that's a paddling.
That's a paddling.
Have a W on one side, a C on the other. So when you whack someone's backside with it, it leaves an imprint. That's half and half. It's got, you could have
for fuck's sake.
Logo on.
The point is, we're not making this about. We're making it about the football and the club and what has transpired.
I'm still making it about the club, damn it. I'm just
saying but you just different. Let's just be serious for just a minute.
Half and then half condoms.
There it is. Okay, so we've got. Well, I figured you'd love this one. The own goal that was scored at the first goal was by none other than a guy called Connor Coventry, and I bet you Rousey splooshed at the sign of something with the word Coventry in it.
No,
so 16th minute.
No, not at all. But Matthew Godden was in there, and he is an ex-Coventry player.
There it is. On that note, this guy he avoids every topic except the Wrexham. the 1-0, we go up at the 16-minute mark, 23rd minute, Macaulay Gillespie, scores, and we get 1-1, go to halftime with a 1-1 there. Now, I'm going to address probably I'd say the thing in the room, the elephant in the room. So we got some yellow cards before the subs. So McLean, yellow card, 66th minute. I mean, in a game that was getting as heated as it was there any other circumstance? Probably not. Dan Scarr got a yellow, and then we brought on Andy Cannon for Oliver Rathbone, who came on, and then 2 minutes later, Andy Cannon scores. Now, Put us in that picture, mate. Let's put us through what that goal looked like to you.
Well, that was if I was to put that down to anything, I'd say that we capitalized on the confusion in the box. That everyone was looking for Mullen and Palmer, and you could see the defenders that they were starting to gather around Mullen and Palmer, which really left it all free on the inside. And all it had to do was one clever, sneaky little pass off to Andy Cannon, and the Lion put it in the back of the net, which we've seen him do from that position many, many times. And I gotta say that was a fantastic goal. It would have been good if that first goal was from a Wrexham player as well, but it is what it is. They were up for it. Charlton were up for it. They were up and about. They really gave us it was a good, solid game. It was a bit of tit for tat, but I can't help but feel that Wrexham really had their number in that game. That was a solid away performance.
I mean,
off by some bullshit call, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment, and it's from your mate from Coventry. So what we will do is bring up the stats. So 56% possession to Charlton, 44% to Wrexham. Expected goal differential, I hate that stat because it's just such bullshit made up crap. 1.51 and 1. So look, technically Charlton should have, in the eyes of the stats, been on top. They had 18 shots at goal. 18. We had 14, which you wouldn't have thought. That's because only 2 of ours were on target. Whereas for Charlton, they did have 7 on target. So they look like the sharper side. But, we do have a great man between the sticks who, kept it pretty safe for most part. The one thing I did want to raise as well, just before we move on to the bullshit, is we had a return in the back half with Maxi Boy. Now, Maxi Boy is part of this controversy, but I did want to, before we get into it, and just say a massive congrats to Max coming back this week. You've got to understand he was pretty much gone till Christmas, I would suggest. And for him to not only get fit enough, but get fit enough to replace a pretty bolstered back half nowadays, pretty bolstered to replace, maybe an out of form O'Connell, but still come back into the side and do what he did.
Well, it's like Nathan Salt said the other week when we had him on. You put him straight back in. Straight
of course.
back in. And that's, of course, what Parky did. And good on that back three now of Scar, O'Connor, and Cleworth is. Yep. I mean, that's my back three. That's my back three. That's
Me
what
too.
I would. I mean, it's a bit of hard luck for O'Connell. He hasn't really done much to get himself kicked out of the team. He's always performed, but he is on the older, slower side. He's a bit more of a traditional defender. But he's put in some great performances, and it is a bit of hard luck. But the fact is, I don't see that back three changing now. It's been settled with that. And
look,
I'm very content moving them with now. That back three.
Good luck moving them now, because I think O'Connell, again, because we do have things like FA Cup coming up, the trophy, things like that. Like, I do see O'Connell definitely being in the lineup of one of them. It's just how they rotate. Injuries as well. Like, we didn't think Maxi was going to go down, and he did. And then we had to kind of shift things around, get people in. So we're very lucky at Wrexham that when shit hits the fan, we have backups or starting players that maybe are just not getting a go because they just can't crack into that side when they're performing so well. So just wanted to say a bit of a shout out to him. I mean, Scar's easily becoming one of my favorites, just because I think I said this about everyone. So I'm sure there's a montage you could make at the end of the year, how many times I've said this, but he's Mr. Consistency. He's just consistently good. And when Scar was getting small, like I think he was only making slight appearances at the start, he wasn't even cracking into the side, and we were like, shit, did we just get this guy, promise him first team football and not give it to him? And then when he cracked into that side, mate, oh shit. Everyone, you raised it with Nathan the other week, you mentioned it, does Scar come out for Cleworth? And it's like, nah, anyone else but that. Like, Scar will stay in. He will perform as well as he has. O'Connor is probably, for me, the most underrated player in the league, not by Wrexham fans, but I reckon by other fans. I think a lot of people are too fixated on flashiness and basically the Birmingham squad. Whereas if you look at O'Connor, he's the complete footballer. Like, what he brings to the table week in, week out is just, second to naught, mate. Second to naught. Look, before we do the last little bit, Revan came on for a certain Barnett. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, it was for Barnett. So that is someone who I want to see a bit more of. I love Seb. He's just an exciting footballer, and for him to get more minutes into the system, I'm sure we'll see him in the FA Cup. I'm sure we'll see him in other games, but I'd love to see him fighting for that position.
I actually think he will play more of a role next season if we go up into the championship.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's a young kid. He's a young kid. The whole point is that he's a project to build on, and he knows that, and the club knows that. So Barney's obviously fucking superb, but also we know McLean.
Isn't he on a tear lately these days?
Oh, dude. But I mean, when has he not been on a tear?
Is he now leading the league in assists? He's got to be.
Got to be close. Let me have a squiz, mate.
Yeah, get the old FOT mob out.
Get the old FOT mob. Just opening up that,
because I can't think of someone else that has more assists.
He's had 5. He's had 5 assists.
He did that in one game. Sure, that can't be real.
Is that what? He's had 5, not in one game, just 5 in the whole season, mate. Jesus Christ. But I think also assists can suck as well, because he might have been part of the entire play. But then, I'm thinking of the goal for Elliot Lee the other week where he's pinned it in the box. Cannon's then put it on a platter for Elliot Lee to fucking rocket it into the top corner. So there are things like that where it happens where technically he was the assist, but it doesn't count as a stat. Do you know what I mean? It's always the last person to touch it. Not throwing Andy under the bus either. Like, he does his part as well. Let me just look at the League One ratings. So that's for Wrexham. I want to look at the league. There we go. All right. So with the league, we're looking at player stats. Assists, you are correct, sir. Barney is leading the league with 5 assists, equal with Lee Evans from Blackpool with 5. So both of them sitting on 5. I don't think Barney didn't count for any of those on the weekend, did he? Did he?
Not sure.
But anyways, I don't think he did. So again, probably was leading weeks ago as well. So again, someone who highly underrated by the rest of the league, but for us as Wrexham people, we know.
I can't help but feel Charlton were really trying to shut Barney down. They had 2-3 people on him at once, like at some stage in that game. But I can't help but feel that they really tried to shut him down, and he is really that good. And then when you throw Dobson in the midfield and Elliot Lee, who are able to just perfectly pair off him. I mean, Dobson just absolutely that pirouette that he did with that ball. My gosh, that dude.
Dobby's my, like, and I've said this since Dobby's walked into the doors of this club. I fucking love him every time he touches the ball. It's just ridiculous. And you know what makes me sad is that he's replaced our other George. Like, George Evans, we said, was Silky George, Sexy George, wasn't going to get moved. And all of a sudden, we bring in Dobby, and he is moving.
Like moving Dobby out, that's for sure.
Fucking good luck.
And that makes me feel really bad for George Evans because he's done nothing
wrong.
Nothing wrong
at all
to lose his spot. But my gosh, Dobson is just on another level.
And I mean, I think Evans might also have had an injury as well, so there may be something under that as well. But look, let's rip the Band-Aid off, mate. We brought Revan on. Everything was looking pretty good. We got into a lot of added time, and then something happened. Run us through what happened, mate. And let's do the unbiased version first and then do the biased version.
Okay. So, obviously, it was a tactical yellow from Revan. He was chasing down a breakaway. He wasn't the last defender. So, we had, obviously, Max in front of him and all that. So, he didn't go clear of the breakaway for a goal. So, it wasn't a red. Had he done it when he got past Cleworth, it would have been a red, but wasn't a red. It was yellow. He stopped the run tactically. Smart move, but then we failed to defend the free kick into the box properly. We put it out. I think, and then we got another kick and it came in with a free, headed off, bounced, kicked, then bounced off the ground into Max Cleworth.
Blow by blow, mate. Well done.
Yeah, and then Max Cleworth, obviously, hands down by his sides, hit off his right arm, and right in front of the ref, and the ref saw it, who was the ref that didn't start the game, but obviously wanted to make a name for himself because it was one of his first ever games that he's been main referee for. If he did, it certainly showed. Called a penalty at the 90. It was meant to be 5 extra minutes, and the extra play, it was almost 96 and a half minutes. Penalty, and obviously none other than Matthew Godden came in, who used to be an ex-Wrexham striker, who is a very good striker.
Was he ex-Coventry or ex-Wrexham?
Ex-Coventry. Ex-Coventry, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Ex-Coventry striker, who was a very good striker. Put it away, nice and easy, straight down the middle. And then gave us the equaliser. And then we've had all the Charlton fans bloody going on at us and at the post, and even on our post. On
our post, mainly because a high Rousey loves to tweet after a game and get involved. It loves to get involved and forgets which account he's logged into. It loves to just spout his opinion just in a nice public way and get absolutely ripped apart by not just Charlton fans, but Wrexham fans alike. So that was fun to wake up to. But
I
look,
think there was the rest of they were all pretty much Charlton fans. There was maybe
Richard, who's I'd say someone I've interacted with many a time, is a massive Wrexham fan, and he said he disagreed with you. But look,
he didn't rip into me the way the others did.
Oh, look, he gave you a stern word.
Fans, fuck you.
Rousey don't like being confronted. He likes it, but he doesn't like, he likes it from the back, not the front. So what had happened?
Not a penalty. Not a fucking penalty. Gonna say it. Gonna jump in right there.
Look, here's the thing. I'm biased.
The biased view in. That's not a penalty.
One of the best comments that responded to your post from our account from a Charlton fan was before, calling you out being typical Wrexham fan or something. But they did make a point that I would agree with. If that had happened to us, I would have been calling for a penalty. So all of this bullshit of, oh, no, I wouldn't have called for that. Fuck off, you would have. It was close enough, near enough that you would have called for it. I was hoping there'd be some sort of vision that would then disallow all of that, but that's not something that was done. And I think for me, at the end of the day, the game probably deserved to be a draw in terms of how it was a bit of back and forth. Charlton had our number for a bit of that last little bit. There was a lot of run of play. Yes, it was a bit of to and fro, but 2-2. If you had told me before the game we would take a point away from home against Charlton, who have a pedigree in the leagues, I'd take it every day of the week. So look, I think before the game had started, and it had knew that it was going to be a draw, you'd be like, yep, that's perfectly fine. But when you've got ascendancy over a team and you're actually dominating them for most of the second half. Oh, I wouldn't say we had the ascendancy, but I think I know where you're coming from.
We had their number. They couldn't get through in the end. And look, they tried really hard. It was a great game, but the reason why I don't think that was a penalty is that I've watched the footage back and even the slow-mo footage. Max's arm is down by his side and you can see him actually go to move his arm behind his back because he sees the ball coming in and the ball, it's coming in quite quickly, cops a bounce off the turf. Mm-hmm. You see him moving his hand behind his back to try and get it out of the way. Mm-hmm. Couldn't get it out of the way quick enough. Hand is still down by his side. Here's
the thing. I'm with you. I don't think it was a penalty personally.
Yeah.
But I be mad if that was called every other week?
After that. There was a handball after that from a Wrexham player. So had you not called it against Max, you could have called it against whoever that was that took the dive at the end and jumped on the ball. The end
of the thing here is that, look, I see what you're saying. I don't think we had their number. We definitely had some really, really peak moments of momentum. If you guys, I'm a big fan of the FOTMob app. We are not sponsored by them. You can download it for free. You can get it yourself. This is where I get all my stats from because it just gives a really good breakdown of it. The momentum radar just shows you kind of possession, ascendancy when ball movement, making sure it all adds up, all of it. Anyways, Rousey is right. There were peaks. I'm talking multiple peaks. Talking about 6 points in that second half, which peaked to what in the first half would have scored a goal, which did in that case. So what I think is something we need to kind of look on is there was a point where for them to get in the position that they got into, to get the penalty, to get the free kick that caused everything, the chain of events. That shouldn't
have happened. Yeah, that
of course
that should have been shut down.
That should have been shut down right nice and early. So yes, I'm with you. We definitely had a way better second half than we did a first half. But at the end of the day, I walk away being a bit like, okay.
See, funnily enough, I do agree with you on the fact that had it been reversed, we would have been screaming for the penalty as well.
Yeah.
And we would have been laughing at Charlton.
Yeah.
It's football. It is
It's football.
fucking football. It's what you do.
Exactly.
We can sit here and be like, oh, we fucking hate this ref and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't, but look, I still think it wasn't a penalty. But regardless,
I'm with you.
the results are as they were. I believe, it's a draw. And to have the week we've had and to come away with 5 points is pretty fucking epic. I know we've lost our second spot on the ladder. We're now third, but we can easily get back up into that second spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a yeah, whirlwind of events really, and I think for me, walking out of this, I'm not disparaged by it. I would, how everyone said when we walked away from Bolton and that was a 0-0 draw, and where everyone was like, that felt like a win.
Yeah.
I know it hurts, and it hurt me so fucking deep. And you got to understand, this happens at like a very emotional time of the morning for us as Aussies. I think the game finished at what, like 3 a.m. Oh, whatever it is, 4 a.m. It's at that point of the morning where you're a bit overtired and a bit over emotional. I might have thrown some pillows and gotten a bit angry, but at the same time, looking back and reflecting, perspective is a beautiful thing, and I think hindsight is also a beautiful thing. And it hurt at the time, and I was ready to rage, but I was like, fuck this. I'm not even going to go on the Discord. I'm just going to shut my phone off, and I'm just going to wake up tomorrow and then talk about it with Rousey in the morning. And that's what football is all about. It is about sometimes just taking the heat out of the moment and realizing, okay, it's a good reflection. I would say that this is one of those draws that should feel like a win, in the sense that we walked away from that Bolton one with our head held high, saying we've made it. Again, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever the ownership took over, 3 years ago, I think, no, you would have fucking chewed someone's arm off to play Charlton at all, let alone get a draw away from home due to a dodgy pen at the end of the game.
All that is all semantics at the end of the day. It really came down to the fact that you had two quality League One sides going at it. It was a good game to watch. It was entertaining to watch. Credit to the Charlton fans. Fuck you to the ones that want to lambast us because we have an opinion on a penalty. But at the same time, it was a good, solid game, and it was entertaining to watch. And I enjoyed every second of that game.
Great for a neutral, mate. Great for a neutral.
Great for a neutral, but fuck me, that stung a bit, that penalty at the end.
Oh, as I said, mate,
stung. And look, maybe I am biased. Maybe I am biased because of it, but from my knowledge of the rules and looking at it back, I'm gonna hang my hat and say that definitely wasn't a penalty. But you can't change that now. You live with the scoreline as it is, and we just move on and we go into our next round, which isn't a league round. It will be the FA Cup against Harrogate. So let's talk about that. We'll talk about some news. We'll review the two new people that joined us and wrap up the show after this break. Let's go. You know what's coming. Adrian, you want to do it? No.
Woo!
So we've got the Fuck All Cup coming up. Well, the FA Cup. One of my favorite tournaments. I love the FA Cup. I love it. Gets me hard, gets me limbered up, gets me ready just to fuck some shit up. But FA Cup is amazing, and we drew Harrogate. Now, this is an interesting draw because last year they drew against us twice.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
But the funny thing is that when this draw came up, and I went over to the Harrogate Town FC page, I went on their Facebook and on their Twitter and had a look, and they're all saying, well, pack your bags, it's going to be a short FA Cup. They were all consigned to the fact that they were going to lose. Now, I don't know if that's a statement or of their current form in League Two, but it seems a little odd to me that that's what quite a few people were coming out saying that, oh shit, we got Wrexham in the first round of the cup. We're going to
Mate,
lose.
have I got some fun facts for you about this? Because this is something that if I'm a Harrogate Town fan, of course, yes, we've bolstered the squad. We are a much better side than we were when we last saw them. In saying that, we have a patchy away form, which we all know of. And also, we haven't beaten Harrogate since 2020. Now, I'm going to run through you the scores here, and you can't make this shit up. League Two, we played them last season at home, drew 0-0. Fuck, that hurt getting up for the 0-0 result. Then we played them in this League Two back in November 2023, and we drew 2-2. Another game that was much like that Charlton game, to be honest. And then we played them in the FA Cup in 2021 at Harrogate Town, and they won 2-1. Time before that, we beat them in the National League when we were both in the National League, 26th of January, 2020. Now, if I'm a Harrogate Town fan and I'm looking at that, that's got to give me some sort of hope, because Wrexham are known to not do the best away. We've already had a pretty taxing game. I know there's a week gap in between, but we've had a taxing game. We've had some big injuries throughout we've got some new players in, but you've always talked about how we need to gel and get them in to really get to know the squad. So if I'm them, this is the best chance to get us is at home with the record they have against us, and really see what's what. And I don't know, mate. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I know a lot of people were hoping for a bigger draw, blah, blah, blah. But I think these are the games that you kind of remember. These are the games where whether you're Harrogate, because if you beat big old Wrexham, then, it's one to remember.
Oh,
but if
we're the scalp on this one. Clearly,
yeah, we're the scalp. But we also have something to prove. Parky has something to prove. 2020, I'm now looking back. Parky's never beaten Harrogate Town.
No, he hasn't. No.
So,
this is why I mean, when you hear those sort of stats, it's like, oh shit, we got a game on our hands here.
Yeah.
But that said, since that run in 2020, ever since then, we've done really well in the FA Cup. We've gone pretty deep. So I understand where some of the Harrogate Town supporters are coming from. They're already chalking it up as going to be an early exit to the cup. But I would say you're probably going to put out a decent side against us, and we're probably going to put out a side that's going to bring in 2 new players.
That's why they call it the magic. That's why they call it the magic of the cup, mate.
We could be out in round one. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't see that happening. I do see us winning this, but either way, I'm up for a really good, solid game, and I think if by history standards, when we go up against Harrogate, it's always tight. So I expect another good, tight game between Wrexham and Harrogate. So even though we're League One, they're obviously still in League Two, I still see this being a pretty tight game because it always has been with them.
But it has, and I think like I mentioned it just before, but magic of the cup is such a phrase. And if let's just say you're new to football, or like even just the EFL English football system and how the FA Cup works. FA Cup is anyone can play in this, basically. They call this, like, what is this, the 4th round proper or 3rd round proper? I can't remember what they call it.
No, this is the first round proper.
First round proper, sorry. But it is technically, there's been rounds before where lower leagues, lower the National League North, lower tiers have all played.
So they go through qualifying rounds.
Correct.
All that sort of stuff. So they do their own little things, but then when the football league sides come into it, then it becomes the first round proper.
Correct. But and that's what I'm trying to get at is the magic of the cup is that there are teams who do some like Maidstone. Was it last year? Yeah,
Maidstone did amazing last year.
Incredible run.
Yeah,
like they major upsets. There's also games where I mean, even us. We talk about us. I mean, I know the Sheffield one has a bitter taste in the mouth for
and Gateshead. Gateshead got knocked out by an 8th tier team, and that 8th tier team is still in it.
Yeah, there are teams that walk there's a team that play in their league, and then when they get to the FA Cup, it is anything goes, and that's the whole point of this competition. Anything can happen, and I'm really, really excited to see what that can amount to for us if we are to beat Harrogate. If we do beat them, which I am on your side here, I do believe we will win. But if we can again draw another big club, it's a great either away day or a great host for some more memories. And I think that's all that the FA Cup is about those memories. Fuck, anything can happen. Manchester City were on absolute tear last year, and Man United, who are fucking terrible, on their day, beat them in the final. Now, again, that's way down the line, but these are things that can happen. I'm not saying it's a fairy tale, but there are teams that do have massive runs and really do get to that pointy end.
Be honest, they'll end up in the Manchester United or Manchester derby again.
Yeah, again. But look, at the end of the day, it's about getting as far as we can, because each round gets us more money. Also, each round, more publicity for the club, but also it's the memories for the traveling fans and the home fans. For me, out of anything, hearing, our mate Mark from Perth talk about his days when he would go to see the FA Cup and get on a bus and get to some far-flung place to watch an incredible one. He remembers, the games against Arsenal, the team that beat Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are some incredible stories from this cup. So if anything is to be taken from this weekend, it is not to be taken lightly, and anyone can do anything. So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Score predictions. Ooh. I've been thinking about this one, and I think it's going to be a 2-0 win to Wrexham.
Fuck off. I'm agreeing with you for the first time in a couple months. I literally had gone in, I'm like, whatever else he says, 2-0 is what I'm going with. Yeah, 2-0 makes sense. I think just because of the new signings, which we'll talk about in just a sec, having that, and also the guns like Mofal in the bank, in the ready, Fletch, obviously Palmer, Mullen, but
Fletch won't be playing, he's injured.
No, but that's what I mean is we have the guns in the wing, that if there are injuries, there are things like that. We have now brought in even more to bolster that. So let's talk about that. Is that okay if I lead us into the first of our signings?
Go with it. Go on.
I have got some stats for you, my friend.
So we're talking about which one first? Who are we going to?
Well, our daddy Bovas.
Daddy chill.
Oh, daddy
chill.
Daddy chill.
What
even the hell is that?
just chill, daddy. I want that to be a thing when he scores a goal. Like, ooh, daddy chill.
Is this episode going to be called Daddy Chill?
Yeah, do it. There we go. We got our episode name, Daddy Chill.
Daddy Chill. But
that actually fits perfectly into the tune of this episode.
It does. We all just need to take a chill pill.
But look, Daddy Chill.
Daddy Chill. Well, look, we talk about bringing in some more forces. Well, we got a striker, and that is John Daddy Bodvarsson. Bodvarsson?
Daddy.
Yes. I'm just going to call him Daddy because I just feel like that is the nickname he's going to be getting. Now, I've got some stats for you here. This man is from none other than Iceland.
Oh, he's a Viking.
And he was a part of a certain result that beat England a couple of years back as well, and all thanks to that man as well. So, look, I think he's going to be something to behold. He's 32. He's not old by any standard. Fucking if Ronaldo can walk around when he's 50, we've got a guy who's probably just at the end of his peak, but he's getting some good results. So, look, I'm going to talk to you about what he has done in the past. So, his career, he was at literally a club called Viking. By the way, he was at a club called Viking,
which, by the way, have the best shirt you'll ever see.
Yep.
Cue the link here.
Please do it because I know exactly what you're talking about. Then he played for Kaiserslautern, and then he went to the Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he played 48 games for them, scored only 3 times there, but went to Reading and did some good damage there. Played He played for a fair while there. He played about 56 games for them and scored 17 goals. For Millwall, played even more with about 75 games with them, 7 goals there, a few assists. But his biggest one in most recent, and you'll remember, is he has come from Bolton. So he's been there for the last 3 years. 21 games, 27 games, 46 games. Do the quick maths. A lot of games for Bolton. 7 goals in one season, 8 in the next, and then 10 last season and 4 assists. So it's at Bolton, he'd actually crescendoed. He was getting better as he had kind of got along.
But Bolton could not afford to keep him, which is why he's a free agent.
Which, can we talk about his market value?
Yeah, go on. What's his market value?
So his market value is actually not as big as our next bloke we're going to talk about. But this man's market value is 975K. Now, 957K, sorry. Now, that's under Australian dollars. So convert it how you will.
We got him on free agency too.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, I mean,
obviously we've cracked it out on the budget with, paying him a wage that he obviously wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And he's come and he's joined us, and I'm all on the Dadi train. Bring it.
Well, he didn't play many games. He didn't play any games in the league for Bolton.
I want to see him play. And
he played one game in the trophy for Bolton, and I think that's another testament to they had already resigned to the fact that they just can't keep him, and it's just done. He obviously was looking at his options. He did have a fair few eyes on him. Even last season, from what I was reading in an article. But the main thing here is we've brought in another striker, which a lot of people said we wouldn't do. And look what we've done.
Well, we needed to because we lost Fletch and we've lost Jack Marriott.
Yes, but at the same time, people thought that we could swim with just what we had. And I think when Fletch went down, I think it was when we really needed it. But obviously,
what we need now is one more injury to one of those strikers, and you're in a lot of trouble.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to get at is there was a fair few people that did not think that we needed it. We now have him.
And don't you think it's interesting we didn't recall any of our loanees? We chose to go to the free agency market. Could have got Billy Waters back.
Billy's sitting in some whatever far-flung place he's living in at the moment, and probably in a hotel because he can afford it, because he's getting paid fucking squillions. And he is playing for... Is he still at Donny?
No, he's playing... He's on loan to FC Halifax at the moment.
Oh, that's right. Fuck me. So main thing here is he's off some far-flung place, not doing much, and still getting paid the same. So that's the
same with all our loanees, which is really, really strange. You look at Dolby, he's not even getting a start for Dundee anymore. Bickerstaff isn't even getting starts for Altrincham. I mean, it's like none of them are good enough for the levels that they've been sent to because they've been knocked out of the team.
I always say the way Parky does loaning is to make them better or to work out where they're at, what we need to do. And I think that's proven it. I mean, Jordan Days, before he got injured, was tearing it up with Grimsby, absolutely tearing it up. And I reckon Parker's that's what he needed. He needed a spark. He needed not to be too comfortable, but to get out of his shell at another club in a different environment and then bring it back home. Well, he'll do that once he's come back from injury. I think he's back now. I can't remember. Point is, he's on his way back, and then when he comes back to Wrexham in, whether it's Christmas, whether it's next season, he'll be ready. For Dolby, for I was about to say for Altrincham, for Bickerstaff, for Waters, I just don't see that happening. I gave Dolby a fair endorsement that I thought he would tear it up at Dundee and Dundee United, that is, and he hasn't. He hasn't done it, mate. And I genuinely think if he had any chance, it was to do it there. And I really hoped for him. But the season's still long. There's still a lot to go. We could be proven wrong. But I think that's why we went the free agency route. Now, I do want to talk about our next bloke, and I want to put it to you, mate, what your first reaction is from a pretty plain name in comparison. We've got John Dadi Budvarsson versus Matthew James.
Matty James.
What did you
Two
think, mate?
games. Well, he's an ex-Coventry player
Oh
who went
God.
on loan to Coventry for some time. So I do know that name very well, and I've seen him and watched him play a couple times. And he is he's going to give Elliot Lee a run for his money, let's put it that way. As much as I love Elliot Lee and no one can compare, my love for Elliot Lee is, you know, beyond time and space. But Matty James is a fantastic signing. If he can stay fit and injury free.
Mm.
But I did watch him play when he was in his days in Coventry. I think they were back in League One at that stage, but or maybe
2020, 2021. Yeah. So
yeah, so they were League One, I think, or League Championship first year.
yeah, I do want to mention something that he was a part of. So something that's possibly gone on. I mean, I'm sure it hasn't gone under the radar, but just for us on the other side of the planet, it has. The man played a fair fuck load of games for Leicester City. So he was there between 2012 and 2017. Played a very, very integral role. Now, when did Leicester win the league? Let's have a just quick Google. Win
2022, I think.
Was no, it wasn't. It was 2015, 2016.
Oh, okay.
So he was a part of that. And in that, he was weirdly, he had just was on the outer. So he kind of missed the fun. He was there for 2014, 2015, right? Then it's got him straight to 2016, 2017. So he just kind of only played a game there. Then he shipped off to Barnsley, came back to Leicester in 2017, 18 after coming back off loan from Barnsley, went back out on loan to Barnsley, then Coventry to wrap it up before he got shipped off to Bristol City, which he's played a fair few games there. Now, look, I'm rattling off a bunch of numbers here, which mean fuck all. Let's talk about the man and what he's done. So he's a market value of 1.2 million Australian dollars. He is a central midfielder, but can also play as a defensive midfielder, which I think was a really smart move considering what happened to Maxi during the year. I know that it's a very different position, but being able to have that as an option on the bench in case we needed to do it. It's not necessarily his forte in any sense of the word, but to know he can play defensive midfield like Dobby is always great to know he can run and chase back. What did you think about getting him in? 33 years of age, England boy. What was your thoughts? Because I didn't see that coming. I know that our mate Welsh Techie
I had a
from
feeling
Chips
that we
did.
were going in for a striker, and I know Matty James has been training with the club a little bit beforehand, and there was a few rumours going around that was the case, that he was going to join. But look, I think from what I've seen of him, he's quite dynamic. He's quite a good player.
Dynamic. That's your keyword, mate.
My keyword is dynamic. Like, look, like I just said before, he's probably going to be a Elliot Lee sort of replacement. Well, not replacement, but like a feeling like if Elliot Lee needs a rest.
You heard it here first. He's replacing Elliot Lee.
No, no one's replacing my boy Elliot Lee. But yeah, great player, and I look forward to seeing him show what he's got. And I really hope that these two signings work out. They're only short signings, they're only till January, but there may be possibilities of extensions on that if they
I think
light up well. We'll see.
Definitely Daddy. I think Daddy's one of those ones
Daddy.
Daddy. He's definitely coming in. And I reckon he'll stick around at least till the end of the season. Matty, I guess it just depends on how many competitions we're in come Christmas time. That's another factor, because I'm sure that's also to make up for the fact that we do want Elliot Lee to rest so he can be in his prime. Because as we know, the man works harder than most, and can still have games where he's just got an empty tank. And I mean, yeah, it's a heavy load to bear when he's having to run up and down that pitch every week.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see what we got this weekend. It's going to be a big one.
Should be good, mate. I'm excited.
Bigger.
I know that there's a bit of a gap for us because the game for me in my time zone is 2 a.m. on Monday morning. That's going to suck. And then for our mate Rouse, it is, I believe, 11:30 p.m. WA time. So on Sunday night. So all over the shop this game, but should be
all over the shop. I tell you what, it's I'm just looking at what's coming up at the moment. Obviously, we've on Sunday, but then we've got Mansfield coming to the Kairas next week, which is going to be a big one. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
I love coming up against sides that we've played. Like Harrogate's a great example of that. We didn't really meet the mark. They obviously got draws from us last season. So I'd really love to see where we're at now come the FA Cup. And then Mansfield's another big one as well. They were outstanding.
Mansfield and Stockport doing extremely well.
Yeah, extremely well. And
but funnily enough, Wickham have been on a tear lately. Wickham have been on an absolute tear. They've been.
Well, they're second now, no?
They're second, yeah. They're now second. Obviously, we've actually dropped off on goal difference too. So that's not ideal. But then we've got Mansfield nipping at our heels. So that third versus fourth battle is going to be juicy. But Stockport, of course, have had a couple of draws and a loss. So they're starting to, because it was what I thought it'd be like when you start versing quality opposition, like your Huddersfields, your Barnsleys, your Mansfields, your Wickhams. When you start bringing these top League One sides into it, I thought they were going to struggle, and that's exactly what happened. Stockport.
Fuck you shit on Stockport.
Yeah, I know, just shit on Stockport, but 3 draws and a loss out of the last 5. They've now dropped down to 12th position.
Now, so, what have we done with a couple of draws and a loss?
So we've had 1 loss, 2 draws, and 2 wins in the last 5. So we're hanging
teetering
around that sort of 2-point margin per game.
Which is good, but I think we need, like we said, we need to start making the statements at the away games because we know what we can do at home, but it doesn't matter unless we're really performing away. And Charlton, we take that as a point gained, really, and we'll move forward. But mate, I'm just keen for the FA Cup. I'm really keen for it, mate. I know this is the end of the episode, but it's just something that I constantly like. It's a league that I get excited about. That's obviously not the one that you're in. It's just anything can happen. You can draw anyone. It'd be real interesting to see who we would get next round if we were to make it.
What? Oddly enough, what game I'm actually really looking forward to? That's the game against Burton Albion.
Oh, because of your mate Fleur.
I just think that that'll be spicy. I imagine there's going to be.
I don't think it'll be that spicy. It's only spicy in the boardroom.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Damn. If we didn't have this episode as Daddy Chill, we could have definitely gone with spicy in the boardroom.
Stop it, Daddy. Just stop it.
Oh my God. I'm out. If he says it one more time, I just can't. I'm out. I'm done.
All right. Well, we're going to end things there. Guys, thank you for if you've listened this far and you got past our ranting and raving and all the dick and fart jokes you could imagine, sex jokes, that's just what we do.
It's a fucking Monday for us, mate.
That's just a Monday morning. But anyway.
Morning. Oh.
Yeah, I know it's not morning at the moment. It's Monday
night. First thing in the morning and Rouse is just texting me dick jokes. He's like, morning, fuck it.
Oh, shit. But guys, if you want to reach out, leave a comment down below. We love it when fans reach out to us that have something to say. So by all means, reach out, put a comment in the comment description down below. Or if you want to become a fuckhead at $5 a month, it's less than the price of a coffee per month, and you get so much back. Links will be in the description down below. But on that note, I'm your host, Rousey. That host over there is Adrian. We are the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast, and we will see you next week for another juicy episode, which we might have a special guest. Stay tuned. Find out. See you next week. Bye. Woo.
Daddy, chill.